I was born great.
Yep, you were.
Yes, sure.
All right, we're live.
And that thing is not going to be, we're going to keep it like this.
This is your, this is this radio, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this little thing right here
Uh-huh.
is
Okay.
broadcasting us live.
Okay. Okay.
So we are on and people are watching and they're thinking to themselves, what the hell is going on? Which cup is his? This one?
No, that's yours.
Okay, so this one is him.
That's him. Thank you, man.
You're welcome, sir.
God bless you because I can't.
Huh?
I said, God bless you because I can't. Okay. Oh, we got 4 minutes. We got time. We're fine.
These are your keys.
Yeah, I like to do the show with Dee because Dee and I never agree on anything.
Are you Dee?
So that's why I like to.
Did you already put sugar in here? Here it is for sugar. Or is there a lot of sugar?
Yeah, it's sugar.
Okay.
Okay, I show you.
You
know this place? Sure. I always like getting out of here.
Fresh air or
Here's
hot
the mic
air?
right here.
Okay. I'll be right there.
Can you move this cord a little bit?
You have to go all the way around.
Aisha, let me tell you a secret. It would have been easy to do this.
All right, the people are watching us move around, so that's always interesting, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That mic works, right?
I have a friend that make her living like that.
This is, it's live. All right, Rolando, your head is in front of my shot.
So it's shining
Come over
too
this way.
much?
No, it means that they probably can't see me, they can only see you.
Okay, how about like that?
There you go. All right. You broadcast when you're ready. No, the other one.
No, this one here. Okay, so we got 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
1 minute and 1 minute exactly.
1 minute exactly. Okay. This should be fun.
Can I see it over here in this one?
No, because
If I go to YouTube?
yeah, if you go to YouTube and then type in Radio Tribune.
Yeah.
But I mean, how slow is that computer?
How slow?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, that coffee's good. High five.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
I'm glad you like it.
Okay, we're getting ready.
If you can see me, text me. If you guys are watching, text me. If you can see me. I'm putting on lip gloss. Oh, hi. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Aisha with Life of a Daughter. I am broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas. I always say that. I don't know why. I guess I'm getting ready for my real show. So I'm downtown Las Vegas. I'm at 820 or is it 720?
820.
827th Street off Charleston and 7th. If you're in the neighborhood or you're on your way, please stop by. I'll put you on the air. I don't have no problem with it. I'm on the air till 9 a.m. I got Rolando with me today. So I got a couple of phone calls and text messages, and people are like, I know I'm putting my lip gloss on. And people are like, hey, I really like the show. You and Rolando are really great together. And I was like, really? I said, you heard us fussing? We agree on a lot of stuff, though. We have a lot of the similar ideas, which probably lets people know I'm not as conservative as people would think. you know. But also joining me this morning is D. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do we call you D or do we call
D
you?
is good.
D is good. So someone texts me and says, I'm ranked in need and I see you. Okay, I'm in naked. Joe Cato just said, I'm naked and I need and I see you. I hope you meant you could see me. Hi. But I'm not naked. So I have this whole thing on Facebook that I do. And
Why don't you do the show naked?
I should do the
Topless.
show naked.
Topless. Not naked, but
Topless? Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
I have good tatas. I have
Yeah.
great.
Okay, I believe you.
That would make good radio, right? Good radio.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
believe it. Yeah.
So-
There was a girl that was doing a radio show in
Topless?
Yeah, topless.
I don't know.
Where she was, but New York somewhere.
Oh, I can't do a show topless though, because I know people. And then my daddy will be watching and he'll be
Oh,
like,
my
But
God.
aren't there licensing requirements if this goes? This is also video, so
Yeah.
there would be restrictions.
well, I don't know on YouTube. I mean,
No, I don't think it's that much restriction yet.
right.
It will be. So
I won't do it topless, you guys. You don't have to worry about that. But I am cute. I'll show you. Since this is a live show, I can show. I got dressed up for the show. Today, so Rolando off the air, Rolando and I were talking about a couple of things, and Dee was listening. And so we're at Radio Tribune, and you know, I always say thank you to Rolando, but thank you always doesn't seem enough. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope I do you justice. But we were off the air and we were talking about gender, transgenders, and you know, and so in the news, I don't know if people are watching, but there's an article where legislature is proposing a bill for CCSD where young people can use the same restroom. So basically, if you are,
what do you mean, young people?
so young kid, the youth,
Uh-huh.
because it's all sexes, right? And then I'm going to explain. The proposal is that if you are transgender, which gender has nothing to do with same sex. Gender is a gender preference. So if you were born a girl, but you choose to be a boy, they are suggesting that you could use the boys' restroom in the schools. That's one of the suggestions. And it's, you know, they're trying to be a little sensitive to the identity of the child, right?
Right.
Personally, I think children are too young to make that decision. I mean, I'm 40, right? And I'm just realizing that I'm feminine. I know I'm a woman, but I'm just embracing my femininity. And now I'm getting ready to go through menopause. So it's kind of late, right? So, but the schools are proposing that, you know, the bill is proposing that the children could use, if you're a boy, if you're a girl and you're choosing to be a boy, you can use the boys' restroom. If you're a boy and you're choosing to be a girl, you could use the girls' restroom.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Well, and then, so what would happen is, so you can't even do that in regular world.
No?
No, because if I'm a girl, right? Well, if you're gendered preference, I wouldn't know.
Well, but let me say something. For example, Johnny is a transgender girl.
Right.
So
her name is Janetta. So let's say Janetta.
Janetta go to the bathroom at the Stardust Casino. Stardust is closed, so
Right.
we're going to use
Right.
a hypothetical name.
Right.
The Stardust, she want to go to the bathroom.
Right.
She got to go to, because she would not look too good in a men's room
No, right.
with a dress.
Which is what I was saying. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. Right.
Right.
But at that age, you do know, because they're just because there's so many laws against taking testosterone and hormones. So they don't start till older. They won't, you know, the doctors won't start letting you take them till older. So at that age, you would still know what gender they are. So that's the issue.
Oh, that's the issue.
Yeah, so at
because
our-
I was wondering.
Yeah. So at our age, they've probably proposed their gender. They declared it a long time ago. And at, you know, moving up in ages, they're taking their hormones or their testosterone. So you know what gender they are. So if I saw a woman, I would say she's a woman. You know what I mean? And vice versa, man to man. But at that age, they've just they're just some doctors are just allowing them to, be the gender that they've chosen to be. So that would be the issue.
So, Aish, are you saying then that in a minor situation, which would be the school districts, there's two options? In the public, there's not the two options because they're of majoral age, which means they're over 18 in the state of Nevada, and it means that they can choose to go in because they also have hormonal therapy and that.
Right.
Are you then saying that the school district has not proposed a third option, which would be a third bathroom for transgenders?
They have not.
No, that would be very, very dangerous.
And not just that, but
would be that would give the bullies in the school
exactly an opportunity
that person is. They don't call him transgender. The mentality, the ignorance, they call gay.
Right.
And gays, it have changed a lot.
Right.
It has come long ways.
But it's still
my days when I was younger. But they attack them, they abuse them, they throw things at them, and that would be more dangerous.
Right.
In my opinion, I'm not an expert on the material, but
and I'm not an expert on the material either. And I just want people to know the reason why we're bringing it up, because it is a sensitive issue. It is going on, and someone should be talking about it. And people are always, and I appreciate my LGBTQ community because they're very patient with me and they're always educating me on, Aish, you said that wrong, or you shouldn't say this, or that's not what's going on. So for example, I was having a conversation with Rolando and we were talking about transgender relationships, and he said, so she's gay. And I said, no, she's straight because she's dating a man. And so these are like different things that people that are ignorant to have to come to understanding. Now, I also explained to him, and I'm not afraid to say this openly, that I don't personally agree with transgender, and we were actually talking about.
But you accept it.
I don't accept it. I respect it. It's two completely different things.
Right.
I'm a respectful of person.
Yeah.
So if you a man and you want to be a man, I'm a respectful of person, Now, does that mean that, that in my life, if we had a conversation, or let me say it this way. So I have gay friends, right? I have a lot of gay friends. Not a lot, but I have a few gay friends. And a few of them are in couples, are in relationships. Do I believe in marriage? I believe for people's rights, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean I believe in gay marriage. And I've had conversations.
No, I agree with you.
And they know that because I've had those conversations with them, However, I'm a respectful of person. If that's what you want, I'm not going to fight you against it, or I'm not going to love you because you've chosen that. Because love is love, right? Yeah. And my friends are my friends, but it doesn't mean that I believe in it.
Right.
So in the end of the day,
I have a friend that smokes marijuana, and I don't agree with it, but I respect them, and they respect me enough not to smoke
around you. Exactly.
That's all.
And that's just life. That's how I feel, right? Don't change me, and I won't try to change you. Love me the way I am, and I'll love you the way you are. That's fair. It's reciprocity. So I said that to say, in gender difference, we have, there's so much conversation, and some of the stuff I'm against because I have here we go. I have an 11-year-old, and with all the information, it becomes very difficult to train and to sculpture, and you really have to keep your children sheltered because of all the information. I was having a conversation with a guy, and he was like, you don't have cable? And I said, I can't control none of that. I can't control. If I have cable, he can watch whatever the hell he want to watch.
Yeah, but it is a way to control that, I believe.
No, because it's on regular TV.
Oh.
It's on regular TV, and he's exposed to it at school, and he reads the news. So you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And that's not just transgender; it's everything. It's the war on drugs. I can't shelter my child, but I can mature. I can teach him maturity in my timeline, and as it comes up, and then separate the overexposure.
Exactly. And that's what you do with minors. When you are a parent and you have the responsibility of that person, you don't control their thoughts, but you control the environment they learn in.
Yes.
So that you can see that they get all of the information
Yes.
And again, it's not a control issue, but it's raising them to be a responsible adult.
Yes.
By giving them the information, not in a limited manner, but in a manner that is appropriate to their development.
Exactly.
And to their age.
And to their age. That's
To
even
their
better
age,
because
yeah.
I said this and I said this on Facebook. I had a conversation with my son recently about gender. And I said that. I said, I didn't have a gay conversation with my child. I had a gender conversation with my child, which, what the hell? You know, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, how do I have this conversation? Thank God I have friends who have, you know, taught me or have taken the time to make sure I have some understanding, right?
Right.
But so when he is going through puberty and you have that conversation, I was scared. Do you think
that your son is gay?
I think my son is 11, and I think at 11, a lot of children are confused. I think in part of puberty, part of puberty is being confused with who you are. That's part of puberty. And I think that now, because of what's going on in the world and in society, that's a new thing that they're confused about. Because when we're going, so I'm 40, right? Puberty wasn't that long ago for me.
Say that again.
I said I'm 40. Puberty wasn't that long ago for me. So, but we remember puberty, right? I was confused about, I was a tomboy. So I was confused about whether or not I wanted to wear pants or skirts because all of my girlfriends was wearing skirts. They all had boobs and I didn't really have boobs. So I was more comfortable in jeans, but guys.
You didn't have boobs?
I didn't get my boobs until I was 15. Right. And then
that's the right age.
Yeah. Well, no.
I'm still waiting.
You're still waiting? But you know, in school, they were getting them at 12 and 13. And you know, yes. I was a late bloomer. Thank God it's not an issue today, but I was a late bloomer. I was part of the itty bitty titty committee.
Wow.
You know, when boys used to.
You can fool me. That's for sure.
That's what, you know, so obviously that was really an issue for me because I can still remember that, right? I was terrorized because of it. I was a late bloomer. I didn't bloom till high school. In junior high, a lot of the girls had boobs. They had hips and butt. And I was like this stick with this high booty. And so guys still saw me as the homeboy, you know? And so I really struggled with that because all of the girls were becoming feminine and soft girls. And I was still playing football, you know? So what I did was I joined the cheerleading squad, like, cause I wanted to be a girl so bad. But I was saying that because that's part of the issues of puberty.
Okay.
You know? So
do you think your son is gay?
I think my son doesn't know what he is.
Or he have the intention, he inclined
tendencies.
He had the inclining to be.
I think all children have the inclining to be.
Well, every male has some kind of feminine on them.
Yeah, especially when you're raised with women.
Yeah, and every male has a female touch on them.
Right.
Someone express it better, someone express it less, someone are afraid to express it, you know, and someone have a complex about explaining it, you know.
Well, and
I have no problem by doing the dishes at home and helping.
What has doing the dishes got to do with being a woman?
Well, because that's the mentality of many guys. Oh, I'm not going to do dishes. You know, I'm not going to do the laundry. That's woman stuff. You know, I don't have that.
Believe this crap?
I never had. Yes.
Well, I don't like to watch men do dishes either. Like, that's the ongoing conversation with my friends. I don't like men that cook.
Well, let me tell you, male cooks are better than the female.
Whatever. I'm not a fan.
Look at the way in the hotels on the fancy restaurant. How many chefs do you find?
Being a chef is a skill. So if you're a chef, that's an actual job. That's a career.
Right.
That's not the same as cooking. So
being a cook.
Right. I don't think that's the same.
To be a cook.
Because it is a career. It's a job,
It is
right?
a
It's a
job.
career.
And it's how they train,
Right.
their education.
Right.
Nowadays, it is. There is women's cook and women's chef.
Yeah.
That's why.
But in the home,
early, the world is changing.
yeah, the world is
You know.
changing. In the home, I want to be the cook. I want in my home, I want my man to say, baby, this tastes good. You know, I don't mind my husband, the
What are you
dude,
talking about?
like food.
Oh, okay.
Know all that.
How are you single?
I'm single because I have some other issues.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I am sure there are men calling in right now
I know.
have a ring ready for you.
No, I have some really large issues. But let's get back to gender.
And
So-
I would factually like to back up what Rolando is saying. Medically speaking, scientific facts back that up. We all start out as females. We do. In the womb, we start out as females. The male with the X chromosome, the male parts are the Y chromosome and are added later. So just to back up what you were saying, people expressing themselves, whether they express themselves in a male manner or in a female manner, we all have the female chromosome.
Yeah, and I believe then it's a matter of insecurity also. Some males are insecure. They are not. They don't want to give the impression of any other thing but a big macho cowboy man, and that's what bring them to be ridiculous,
I think so. I like metrosexual men, which metrosexual just means they're very comfortable with their feminine side, but they also take very good care of themselves.
Right.
So I'm comfortable with metrosexual men. And if I had to say, so I don't want to choose anything for my child, right?
No.
I'm learning this. My girlfriend TJ would be so proud of me right now, but because she got upset with me about something I did with my son. And we got into a little argument about it. But I'll say this. After having a conversation with my child, I don't want to make a choice for him at all because I want him to grow up.
Well, I hate to disagree with you because you don't gonna make a decision for him.
No, that's
You
what I
can
mean.
Tell him whatever
I can
you
tell,
want to
right?
tell
I
him.
can direct him.
And in a couple more years,
He's gonna do what he's
do whatever he wants.
right. So I'm saying that because what I want my son. First of all, I want my son to like women. I'm going to say that openly.
Yeah.
I want my son to like women because I want to have grandchildren. And I don't care what no one says, a boy cannot have kids. Okay? He can adopt. My son is adopted. He could adopt, but my child, if he likes another man, he can't have children, and I want grandchildren. I want grandchildren from my son. Okay? So let me say, so that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is I wouldn't put whatever my son chooses, that's what he chooses. But in our home, because it's still my home, I'm still the mama, right? In my home, boys like girls. Now, whatever you do in your home, that's your business. But in my home, boys like girls. And so
what you're trying to tell him is if you're gonna be any different than what I like, you have to move
I
out.
don't. No, I don't have that conversation, and that's what I want to point out. What I want to point out is that's not the conversation we have in our home. I tell my son, I support and I love you. And at your age, this is exactly what I told him. At your age, I don't think that you have enough to understand any of it.
You don't have the knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
So really what I want you to do is focus on getting good grades. Let's play soccer. If you want to be a technology buff or whatever it is you want to do, let's focus on that. And then I tell him, this is why. Mommy's 40 and she ain't having sex because it's complicated. So I can only imagine.
You're not having sex?
I don't have sex right now.
No.
No. Sex is
But
complicated.
you're not anti-sex, right?
I'm not anti-sex.
Oh,
Hell no. I'm all sex. Jesus.
And
Ugh.
that says a lot about Aisha.
Yeah.
That what is important in her life is what she lives.
Yes. It's
Well, let me tell you something. Since day one, when I met her, I knew she was a different type of woman.
Oh, thank you.
She is very enlightened. Yes.
Very, very much. I'm very proud to have her here.
Oh.
Not because you're here, it's because it's true.
Thank you.
I was very disappointed when she decided to go to Florida for a vacation and don't let me know, because she did it at the wrong time. She
Right,
did
right.
it when it was some kind of situation here,
Right.
and she didn't let me know because we both was misleading. We both was misleading, and I'm glad to have her
We're
here.
very fortunate to have her
Thank
here
you.
at Radio Tribune.
Thank
and
you.
She articulates well.
Oh,
She
thank you.
presents both sides of an issue. And I think we will just have more and more programs that are just going to expose a lot
I
more.
know.
And how, especially, the title of the show again, Asia.
Life of a daughter. Life of a daughter.
How many of us women can learn from her? Her
Woo!
experiences. She can be a mentor
Yeah.
through this radio show and now video
Right.
for YouTube.
Right.
But I don't know if the show is at the right time. I think it might be a little too early for. Unfortunately, she has to make a living.
Yes.
She cannot.
I'm glad that you said that.
But now, what we can do with a little bit, and I have learned, like the other day, she called me and she said, "Well, can you run the show again at 3 o'clock?"
Yes.
I said, "Yes." I put it in because I learned how to record the show and how to put it back in the whatever you call Dropbox or whatever. And today, while I was shaving, I was thinking that maybe if we got enough shows in the morning,
Right.
we can run the shows after 3 o'clock. Like her show should be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the kids come out of the school,
Right.
and they can watch the computer and
Yes.
So, and we're trying something. So today, if you guys are watching me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Dee, I appreciate you joining us. And thank you for the kind words. I really blush because I'm not used to, so forgive me. I'm not used to receiving that
I
way.
say kind words too.
Rolando.
What do you want to say? Thank you to me.
And I always, right? And then thank you to the Las Vegas Tribune newspaper, because without its long running status in the community, Radio Tribune wouldn't be here. So, Rolando, I appreciate your being able, your stick to itness. I appreciate that, because that says a lot. And there's no, if you're watching this and you haven't read the Las Vegas newspaper, number one, shame on you. And number two, he's diversifying as much as he can. He's getting old, so he's getting a little soft. So if
I'm getting soft.
So
Really,
if
that's an insult. I'm not supposed to be soft.
So if you are watching this and there's pieces that you think should be a part of Las Vegas Tribune newspaper, please email Rolando, because number one, it's a lot of work to put a newspaper out. We all know that. It takes a lot, and it shouldn't be if things are for the community. And what I love about the Las Vegas Tribune is because he can be him. It's not owned or occupied by any other media. There's, his conversation and his voice is what is of truth or what he believes. And so if you're watching this and you've been saying to yourself, well, he needs to be a little more, then this is your opportunity. We're offering you an opportunity to actually do something about that. Don't talk about it, be about it. I'm all about action, right? Put your words where your mouth is and submit something. Now, I'm not saying
you don't have to agree with me.
Right.
I'll let you write
exactly.
whatever you decide to do,
Exactly.
as long as it's within the moral guides of society.
Right.
I don't like insults. I don't like
Right. We should be
bad
respectful
words
of person.
and I'm not as diplomat as they think I am. That word got into my head. She called me a diplomat yesterday.
He has the ability to look someone in the face and to bring them into his circle when maybe that's not what he is feeling. And diplomacy is very important in the media business, because you want to get
Readers.
yes. Well, you want to get readers, obviously, but you also want to get the whole story.
And credibility.
Credibility. If that doesn't exist as a publication, you're not going to get the whole story.
That's true.
And his diplomacy comes out in the ability for him to be able to engage both sides of an issue and the people that are responsible for both sides of the issue. And so, yes, you are diplomatic. Now, in your relationship,
That's a Lord gift.
that
And
is-
it's really good.
It's a Lord gift.
it is what a publisher and a founder of a newspaper
And
needs
believe
to be.
me, every morning when I get up, all I ask is give me the common sense to be fair.
Fair. That's a
That's
good word.
And anybody who goes to LasVegasTribune.com and reads the paper will see that you stand up, maybe not for the issue, maybe you don't take sides of the issue,
Right.
but you stand up for the right to people to expose the issue.
So thank you, Rolando. So
Thank you.
so this has been a love fest.
Yeah, okay.
So let's
go back
let's
to
get back on
reality.
track.
Let's
Because I'm
go
sure.
back to your show.
So let's get back on track. But commercial breaks is important, and you're giving Las Vegas Tribune its commercial time. They're watching.
They watch. And now, how are we going to do that now?
So
When we watch.
I'll show you later. So I came in this morning and I was like, I came in at 7:30. My show airs at 8, and then we'll roll it again at 3. So if you're listening, you can hear it again at 3. And I came in and was like, my mama said she couldn't see me on YouTube. That's what it was. And so I had my mom's name. I had my mom's words in my ear because she's she's my best friend. My mom is my very, very best friend, but she's also my largest fan, right? So I said, well, if my mommy can't see me, I got to fix this. So I came in early and I figured it out on the computer. So now people are watching this live.
So we got to thank your mom for having
Gotta
this
thank,
YouTube.
yes, my mom's name is Jolette Goins, so thank you, mommy, for YouTube. And the great thing about it is it's going to expand our reach, and and it'll expand my reach, thank goodness. But also it's going to diversify the Radio Tribune, right? And we want diversity, and that's what's important. So it's going to make us relevant.
I'd like to mention, now that we're talking about diversifying, that Tina is going to start her show
Yes.
on Saturday, the 6th of June.
Saturday, the 6th of June, and her show is called It's Okay to Be Different. Isn't that the name of her show? It's Okay to Be Different. Tina starts on the 2nd of June.
6th of June.
The 6th of June, Tina Bursch, and she's one of my business boot camp graduates. I'm very,
And
very
I
proud of
thank you-
her.
And I thank you for bringing her over here.
Thank you so
because
much.
I was very impressed with that young lady.
Yeah, I'm impressed
And
with her too.
husband,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
They both, you was here when they
I was not here.
No. they very, very much involved in the community.
Yes.
They are doing the best. She quit her paying job in the state
To help children. So
to concentrate in that program that she's doing, and now she's trying to raise the money to keep the program going. And I think the community should be helping her to do that instead of than waiting for the government to do it,
okay, so let's reel him back in.
because
Sometimes there's not money for it. I agree. But so what Tina Burst does is she has a program called It's Okay to Be Different, and she's trying to eliminate the preschool to prison pipeline, which is a real thing. So there's a conscious mindset that it makes more sense to have children in prison because it's cost effective. And so what they believe is that mindset starts in preschool, and that we are systematically raising minority children up to go to prison.
I'm building the prisons with those
To house
people in
them.
mind.
Yes.
You
So
know, that's
and so her task, which is a very large task, and there's other people in the community, but I'm talking about It's Okay to Be Different right now. Her task that she feels is important because she comes from the system. Actually, she not from foster. I come from foster care, but she actually she used to be we'll talk about that later. But she comes from the prison. She used to work in the prison. So that's where her soft spot comes from. And there should be more programs out there that are put together to get our children acclimated into community, you know. And let's say this, because there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of things out there in society that says black men aren't educated and they're going to prison. That's not true. The graduation number for black men is higher now than it's ever been, ever. So there are and I don't really, all of the men that I know, they're all educated. All the men I know are educated. So I thought all men black. So you know how they say that none of the black men are educated? In my mindset, it's completely different. I thought all black men was educated. It's just odd to me. My son knows he has to go to college, you know, but that stuff starts at home, right? It starts at the house, and it's the environment that we create for our children. My son knows that he's not finished with school until he's 22. He knows that. If you ask him, you know, well, what are you going to do after high school? He goes, go to college. Like, you know, what else? What else? But I remember reading the book, and it said that if you train your children to believe that college is the second, you know, college is a part of their education, then they'll just believe that. They won't think anything else. And my son doesn't. He doesn't think that there's an option. You know, they go, what do you do after high school? He's like, I'm going to go to college. Like, then what are you going to do out of college? I'm going to start my own business. Because now here's where things different, right? So we talked about fostering your children's home and, you know, making things easy or making things hard and keeping them isolated and making decisions for them, right? So I'm going to dial back to gender. I have not he asked me, did I think my son was gay? And I know everybody's watching, wondering how I'm going to answer that question. And so here's my answer. I believe that my son is going through puberty, and he has had an experience with a girl, and it was an enjoyable experience for him. And when he had the experience, I specifically stopped him in that moment and said, what do you feel about that happened to you? And he said, well, I liked it. So he had an experience where he kissed a girl. The girl kissed him, because my son's really good looking. So the puberty issue that I'm having with him, because everybody goes, well, how's Amber? And I go, oh my God, we're going through puberty, right? The puberty issue I have with my child is he can't decide whether he want to be good looking or smart. And he hasn't figured out.
He be both?
He hasn't figured out he can be both.
Yeah.
He hasn't figured that out. So my son's really good looking. And I'm not saying that like, you know how moms be like, my son is really good looking.
There is where you come to.
Right.
To his life. You can show him that he can be both. Because most good looking guys, they think they don't need to be anything else but good looking.
Right.
And they don't look for a career, or they don't look for a business opportunity because they're good looking.
Good looking is a career.
You know, and
being good looking is a career, right?
I don't know. They might have no career.
So my son he's very, he's a character. So he's very animated, and I could have put him in acting early because he's brilliant. So he remembers things. Our family is articulate. My whole family is very huge on vernacular and being able to express ourselves. So my son is no exception. You know, I have to read to keep up with him, which is annoying, right? However, so he's always wanted to be in acting, but I withheld him because academics is important. You can't be an actor and be dumb. You know, I needed him to focus on his studies. So now he's getting older. He's getting into plays. You know, he's a thespian, right? So he loves it. And he memorizes lines, and they're important to him, but he's very good looking. So the problem is I have to explain to him that getting an education is the only thing that matters, right? It's the only thing that matters. He's also awkward. So getting an education is the only thing that matters. I don't give a doggone how cute you are. If you dumb, we still know you dumb. So right now
So do you call him a dumb, cute guy?
No, hell no. My son is brilliant.
No, I said if you dumb, you know, you can say, oh, that's a dumb, cute guy.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you said that because, like, I was telling my girlfriend, Joe. Hi, Joe. I was telling my girlfriend, Joe, there's a guy on Facebook, right? He is fine as hell. And I was telling her, I said, oh, my God, I hate that Facebook can make you look smart. He is dumb. Like, I know him. He's dumb, right? But he posts these brilliant and thought-provoking things. But if you had to have a conversation, I don't care. He don't know who I'm talking about. But I even showed her his post. I was like, look, right? So I have like close to 3,000 friends. So it's almost impossible to figure out who I'm talking about. Yeah. But I was telling her, I was like, look. And then I showed her him and she was like, but he's all dapper. And I said, I don't care. He's dumb. And it drives me crazy because he's so good looking and he has these thought-provoking things. But that's it. Like if you had a one-on-one conversation, it's limited. It's limited. I'll say that. I won't say what it's about because
then you're going to give him up.
Now, Aisha, can I ask a clarification?
Sure.
You were talking about your son and an education is important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see theater arts because it is a major and he is a thespian? Mm-hmm. Do you see that as an education?
Absolutely. Okay. If he chooses, so when I say education, I mean the basis of education. He needs to get an education. Right. Because he has to have, no matter what he decides to be, he has to have an education and he can fall back on that. He can always trust that. So if he came to me and said, Mom, I want to do creative arts. I want to get a major in creative arts. I would probably say to him, please let that be your minor and let's pick something different as a major. Right.
Okay.
However, I absolutely would respect that as his choice because it's the education I'm concerned about.
Because I would think as a responsible parent, which you are, you would then express to him, if you do go into theater arts as a major or creative arts,
right,
you will be going into a job that pays less,
right,
that may not even support a family,
right.
You have to decide for yourself if that is the career you want.
Absolutely.
If you get one of the the STEM, science, math, technology, engineering, whatever.
English, math, science. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If you go into one of the more traditional studies that you would hope he would have as a major,
right,
with this creative arts being a minor,
right,
you are letting him know the reality of life,
right,
as opposed to a lot of parents who cannot guide their children that way because they don't know themselves.
Right. And we have that discussion because my son goes to a Prime 6 school, which Prime 6 schools are in what I live in the 89106. So most of the Prime 6 schools are housed in that area. So there's minority children that go to those schools. So I'm really passionate about our Prime 6 schools, and I try to do things that have to do with that, right? So my son attends one of the Prime 6 schools, and so part of the conversation is, science and math is very important. I tell my son all the time, if you want to be rich and you want to be wealthy, you need to love science, you need to love math. And I've been telling him that all his life, and he loves science, thank God. He absolutely loves science, and math is really easy for him. But I believe that comes from explaining to him that it's going to be easy and you need to love it. And my son also loves reading. We're readers in our home. So we have Book of the Month Club, which we do together, But it's important to have these things because if you have that in your home, then what happens is they see it as natural. We have Bible discussions in our home because my dad did it in our home. So in our home, so I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, right? But in our homes, spirituality was very important. We prayed together as a family. I can go home at any moment and see my mom walking through the house praying and my dad on his knees praying. So that was our home. My dad held us responsible to learning scriptures, and we would sit around the table and have debates. Not necessarily like I hear a lot of people saying, my parents, they made me learn the word. My daddy never made us learn the word. He made us learn scriptures that he felt was important in our lives, which I still know them, right? And when I go through things, I can still quote them and I can meditate on them. But what he did challenge us on is being knowledgeable in the word. So when we would have, and we still do this as a family, we still argue about the Bible. So my dad would say crazy, retarded stuff like, do you believe time travel is real? Right? And we'd all be like, no, time travel, quantum physics and whatever, right? None of us really know, but he'll say time travel's in the Bible. So that's the kind of, and he does it to my son now. And that's the conversations that we have in our home. So it makes you able to communicate the Bible.
With your parents?
No, no. This is when I was young.
Oh, okay.
So I have my own home, but in our home we have these same discussions.
Right.
We have not Bible discussions, because that's not what I'll call them. I call them world discussions that are Bible based. So, my son says to me that he's going to invent time travel. He's going to reinvent, my bad. He said, I'm going to reinvent time travel. And I said, because of course I'm a mom, I don't think time travel is real. Right. And he goes, well, grandpa said that time travel is real and you can go to, and he's quoting the verse in the scripture, right, where it's happening in the word. And he's like, so I'm going to rediscover it because it's already real. And that's the kind, so my parents fostered that kind of household. So I do the same thing, right? So science and math is important. If you want to have money, science and math is important. So he can become a theater person, thespian, or he can do creative arts. I have a girlfriend who actually has an art degree and she owns her own store. Her store is right here. It's called Ship for Your Home. It's right on Las Vegas Boulevard. It's in the 18 block.
Where do we send the bill to for that commercial?
So, but she's an art major, and she's also a realtor, and now she's brokering art. So it's not, you can make, absolutely, you can make a living doing it, because I see people that do it, right? I know people personally who are producers. Tori Russell, he has Broadway in the Hood, and he produces this, and they travel, and he's here, and he's in this state, and he's a art major, and he's done that. So it's not impossible, because I have references of Blacks who, are doing this. And I want to point that out, because we're always afraid to say Black and Hispanic or Latin, but the truth is that my son needs to see people like him succeeding in those things.
Yeah. Well,
I do want to do.
Have to say, why do we have this?
Say race? Why do you have to say race?
Why?
Because number one, because I'm Black.
I have friends that say that. Oh, my Cuban friend or my Black friend. What's the difference? It's your friend.
No, so I rarely will say my white friend or whatever, unless I'm talking about a friend and I'm trying to say which friend it is, because then it's just a description.
Well, yeah, that's a difference.
But my friends are my friends, right?
Right.
But the Black Business Expo. So you know Ernest Fountain, right?
Huh?
You know Ernest Fountain?
No.
Oh boy. So right now the Black Business Expo is going on at the Cannery Hotel and Casino, and one of the conversations, Commissioner Weekly sat on the panel yesterday, and he also was the keynote speaker for the luncheon. And one of the things he brought up was how, as minorities, we don't support each other. We don't know who each other is. And then when we are talking about each other, we tear each other down. Right. So what he was saying is we have to be in a habit of understanding who the minority business owner are. Right. I need to know that you are the minority business owner. That's my baby sister, so she's just waking up. You need to know who the minority business owner is. So I'm Aisha Goins, and I have a business boot camp, and I am a small business advocate and small business. I make small businesses equitable, right? So I'm a business consultant. That's what I do. And someone out there needs to know that that's what I do, right? And then they need to respect what I do, and then you need to refer people to what I do, because as a community, and the same thing in Latin America, right? In Latin America, who's the landscaper, who's a construction worker, and they're referring each other. They, my uncle has, you need your house built, right? So Jose is doing your lawn, right? And you're saying to Jose, man, I'm thinking about adding a room. And you know what Jose says? My uncle does construction. I can call him and have him here, right? We don't do that in the Black community.
Why do you think that is?
I think, without going into slavery, right? I just without going all the way deep into slavery, I just think it's because I'm going to be really loving, and I'm going to say I believe it's because it's not our first thought to promote and to lift each other up. Without going into any long drawn out situation, I'm going to say this. I don't think we know, all of us who is doing business, or what we all do. I think we spend a lot of time with each other, and we do a lot of community things, but I don't think that we spend enough time saying this is what I do and this is who I am.
Could I just interject?
Please. You sitting here.
I do. Yes, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
I have heard, and because this is an issue in this community, it's not necessarily neither a gender nor a race issue. Why is there not networking in this community? I have heard, because if I have pulled myself up by my bootstraps, why would I want to help somebody else when I've done it? Why not let them do it on their own? And that's just what I've heard. I'm not subscribing to that, but it's just one argument.
And that's a good point. So I appreciate that, and I've heard that as well. As a matter of fact, one of my mentors always says, "Well, crabs in a barrel," right? Yeah. So, but I think that the struggle is real. Every day the struggle is real.
You don't think it's maybe a little bit of a jealousy or
No.
a little bit of I don't know, because like if we're talking about the Black community, do you think then after 35 years of existence, the Sentinel Voice should have closed the doors because the lack of support?
Well, Ramon Savoy, hold on. So let's start right there with the Sentinel Voice. So the Sentinel Voice closed. I didn't even know the Sentinel Voice closed. As a matter of fact, I had a friend that was working at 88.1 at the time, and he called me and said, "Aisha, literally, this is what happened." He called me and said, "The Sentinel Voice will not be printing another paper." And I am people know that I love my community, and I work oftentimes for free. You know, if there's something going on and you need my help, you can call on me. And I talk to Ramon. We have conversations, and he knows I care about him, and we've had in-depth conversations about doing certain things. So I'm going to say that, I don't think the paper should have stopped, but I also don't believe that was the last resource. I believe that, we all get tired of having a hustle.
Yeah, that's true.
And at some point,
and also you have to say it is very difficult to deal with Ramon.
I haven't had to work with Ramon, so I don't know.
Well, I don't work with him either, but I know that he is different. So that point, going from that point where Rolando is saying, not necessarily the Sentinel Voice, but there's a pride issue. We tend to we don't want to ask for help. There's a huge pride, and most of it is because when you ask for help, sometimes it's not received well, right? And even I have that issue. I've had to learn that if I give, because I give as much, I should expect the reciprocity back, right? And that's really an energy issue. Like, I know that I've put enough of me out that at some point I should receive and expect that back. And in order for me to receive and get that back, I have to let the people know what my needs are. So really one of my affirmations is, Lord, give me what I need today to serve my people, and give my people what they need to serve me. Yeah. That's one of my affirmations, right? So I believe that, given what Rolando said, there is a pride issue. People want to say that they can do it by themselves, but I don't believe in independence. I believe in interdependence, which means that I am who I am because you are who you are, and I can't be anything more if you aren't. Yeah, but let me tell you, because I, as Ramon did, suffer that part. Back in 1963, I opened the first Spanish newspaper in this town. Okay, and as every newspaper, we depend on advertisement. There was not as many Spanish businesses at that time, but there was a few, and they were not interested in advertising.
But you shouldn't have,
for many excuses.
Right.
They don't print enough paper. Well, but if I have more advertising, I can print more paper.
And that's a marketing and advertisement issue. So that's a monster that's completely different, right? So now we're talking about, is your paper or is your information relevant to the advertiser? And if I was running a paper and I was running a newspaper, I would want a diverse advertiser. So I would go to Caesar's Palace and say, my outreach is the Hispanic community. You don't have enough Hispanics. Let me you should advertise it here to reach the Hispanics.
That's now.
Right.
Back in 1963, they didn't have those kind of departments in the hotel.
Right. Well, I agree.
That was a different story. But like right now, I have people that offer me the price of the advertiser, but they don't want the advertiser because they are afraid to advertise in a newspaper. Then is so outspoken like the Tribune. Some people didn't want to advertise in the Sentinel Voice because the Sentinel Voice was not the voice for the black community. And, it's go from one side to another one.
Right.
The Review Journal can write whatever they want and everybody bows to that.
Well, Review Journal has now hold on a second, because now you're talking about something completely different. The Review Journal has a standing name, right? We're talking about the Review Journal, which used to be the Review Journal Sun newspaper. Or are they still the Review Journal Sun? Yeah, Las Vegas Sun. So the Review Journal has a standing name, right? They print millions. I don't know how many they print now, but they used to print millions of copies, right? And so we're talking about a huge.
They print 10% less than the population in this town.
Well, but they didn't always print like that.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, you're talking about big name magazines versus independent newspapers, right? So, I mean, I could be unfair and say we're in a space where you should support everything, right? But like I told a young man the other day, I have the things that I support. That's what I support, because that's what I believe in. It's my area. And unfortunately, I've already allocated my time and my monies to this stuff. Right. And we're down to the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to 10 minutes. Okay. So what I'm going to say is I love Ramon Savoy. And if he tomorrow was to start to send a voice, I would help him start to send a voice, because I believe, and I specifically told him, no, I know. I specifically told Ramon personally, I said, one of my largest concerns is my son is growing up, and this was a few years ago, and and there will be no black newspapers that will represent him. And I didn't want to be in a space where he couldn't find himself in the paper. And I did tell him that. And so now, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Joe Abraham with the Urban Voice. And so, there is a magazine that is in the community, and it's still standing, and it was running simultaneously with the Sentinel Voice. But I agree with you. It was heartbreaking.
Something to you. It's a different. I'm sure you know the difference.
I do.
It's different to have a magazine
and a newspaper
than a newspaper.
I agree.
A newspaper is supposed to be a fighter. It's supposed
it's supposed to be a voice.
It's supposed to be the voice of that community.
I agree.
And a magazine is a different. It's more like a social events and economical, whatever.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you just pointed that out, because a lot of people don't know the relevance of one from the other. So I'm glad you pointed it out. And I agree with you, but I didn't want to not say that there wasn't something that was ongoing.
I was very, very sad when Ramon closed the paper, because it was another voice. It was another, and I know I went through that, but I was sad also because this is something that many people don't realize. When Mr. Brown wanted to buy the Voice, he used to have the Sentinel. He wanted to buy the Voice. I loaned him the money to buy the Voice. So that's how it became the Sentinel Voice.
So let's dial back to
and to me, I had some kind of a extra feeling for the Sentinel Voice. And then, unfortunately, Lee Brown, it was not like his father. Lee Brown never gave me the opportunity to write in the Sentinel Voice because I was not black. Okay, if a white person would have done that, they would have jumped irritated, because that's discrimination. But Lee Brown didn't give.
So let's go back to black and networking, okay? because this is my show.
Okay, that's true.
So
that's true.
So networking, and there are networking things that go on in our community. Las Vegas Urban League is really good about doing network. They have the young professional urban league, and then Urban Chamber of Commerce they're coming up really fast and making sure that we're networking with each other. Like I said before, Ernest Fountain has an event going on at the cannery right now, is Black Business Expo. So there are opportunities for us to network. It's just that we are not showing up. So that's one of the largest issues. And number two, and I'm going to say this because this is my show, I think the church should be taking more initiative. And I said this yesterday because on Sunday, all the churches have most of the Black people in the community, right? And they should be doing a better job of making sure that we know who's in the community, who's in our congregations that do have businesses, and how we can support one another. So I'm going to put that on the church openly. You guys should be doing better. You should create a magazine, something, have it on your website. One of the pastors actually said yesterday, he was like, well, I can't take sides. I have to be neutral because I have a large congregation. And so I told him, well, your church is open. This is what I said. I said, your church is available Monday through Saturday. So is there a possibility that there could be some networking events from Monday through Saturday, or people could use the church? There could be some reciprocity. They could pay rent. You could use your church to house special events or whatever, right? And so I challenge the churches now moving forward. We're in the 21st century. So I'm challenging you openly to be more aware of what's going on in your church, because your church is your mini community, and to help these small businesses, because small business are the future employers. So if we're talking about there's not enough people working, most of that is because you're not investing in small businesses, because we're the ones who are employing first. So if you're not investing in us, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we can't hire. So I challenge the churches to increase your population and increase your finances in your ministry by investing in the businesses in your ministry. Because if you do that and they're making more money, they can pay more offering, they can pay more tithes. So that's my challenge to you. So I go to Reconciliation Apostolic Ministries, which is RAM. My pastor is Ron Thomas. And, Pastor Thomas is really good about supporting us. And he, even to the point where he will, if we have something going on, he'll announce it. He'll say, y'all need to go over to so-and-so. She's got this going on. Make sure we support one another, right? So I'm really grateful to have a pastor that really does believe in small businesses. And he believes that we should all, if you want to be independent, you should own your own stuff, right? So I appreciate that. You have been listening to Life of a Daughter with Rolando and Dee, but it's my show. This is my show. And I'm Aisha Goins, and you can find me on Facebook/Use Wisdom, or you can go to my website, AishaGoins.com.
And I'm glad it's your show.
Yes, boy, I tell you, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. And Rolando will be airing the show again at 3 p.m. today. So if you missed it, then you can watch me again. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you. Did you just cut me off?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still videoing. So I appreciate you. I see you next week. Click the you closed me off there. So click the circle, the little circle with all the colors. The right. Google. No, next one. Yep, right there. No, go. You should see me. See, there I am. Click on that. Click on me. There you go. Click on me. Click on me. The picture. There you go. Now you see where it says stop broadcasting, the big red button? There you go.